Nobody wants to go through probate, right? Hey, what is up? Thanks for stopping by, taking your time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. My name is Keith Wilson. I'm a practicing financial advisor, helping folks along their personal finance journey. And recently, I met with someone whose mother had passed away, and she was the executor of her mom's will, and she was describing, man, this is a lengthy and costly process of going through probate. So she asked, how can this be avoided when she passed, because she didn't want her kids to go through what she had to go through. So let's look at some ways to avoid probate. Now, first of all, full disclosure, I'm not an attorney, and this does not constitute legal advice. However, as a financial advisor, when I create a custom financial plan for a client, part of that plan is making sure certain estate planning documents are in place, and if they're not, I'm going to refer them to a qualified estate planning attorney. So, first of all, what is probate? Probate is simply the process of distributing your assets and your property to your heirs when you die, okay? Now, this process, this can be different from state to state, but it typically involves, the executor of your will going to the courthouse with a will, taking an oath, preparing an inventory of everything you own and its worth, putting an ad in the paper for creditors that you may still owe money to, paying the funeral home, opening an estate account, possibly meeting with attorneys for assistance, and back and forth and back and forth to the courthouse. Now, here's the thing. All this takes time, and it could take months or even years to finalize the estate before these assets are distributed. Now, if you do not have a will, then the court decides who gets what, and the process is even more complicated. So right off the bat, it's very important to get a will. So here's some ways to avoid all this process, and let me give you an example. Let's say your estate, that is everything you own, and let's say it consists of these assets: a retirement account, like a 401k or an IRA, a brokerage account, stocks, bonds or mutual funds, life insurance policy, savings account at the bank, and your home. Now, all of these assets, they can go through probate if not structured properly. So let's start, first of all, if you have named beneficiaries on your retirement accounts, the IRA, 401k, then that will avoid probate. So upon your death, the beneficiary will simply fill out a claim form with your IRA or 401k company. Then that account would be transferred to them, quick and simple, without waiting for the court to finalize the estate. If you did not name beneficiaries on your retirement accounts, guess what? The estate becomes the beneficiary, and it would go through probate. So, right off the bat, it's very important to name beneficiaries and update them when certain events happen, like death or divorce. Next, if you have a brokerage account or investment account that's not an IRA or other retirement account, you could add what is called a transfer on death agreement, or TOD, to that account. And what you're doing here is basically you're naming a beneficiary to receive this money when you die. And this is easy to do. Just contact your advisor or the institution where the account is held and let them know, hey, I want to add a TOD agreement to that account. And again, simple form to fill out where you name the person or persons that you want this account to be transferred to when you pass. Quick and simple, and upon your death, immediately transferred to them, avoiding the probate process. All right, let's say you have a life insurance policy, all right, and you named a beneficiary. Then the death proceeds are passed to that beneficiary outside of probate. But if you did not name a beneficiary, then again, the estate would be the beneficiary and thus go through the probate process. So again, make sure you name a beneficiary and it has been updated. What about a good old savings account at the bank, or CDs or money market accounts? Well, with bank accounts like these, you can add what is called a payable on death agreement, which is, hey, it's really essentially the same thing as a TOD agreement that we talked about earlier. And so you simply name a person or persons you want these accounts to go to upon your death, and when you do this, then it avoids that probate process. All right, next, your home. So your home could very well be one of your largest assets, and something you could consider is getting a revocable living trust, transfer the deed from your name to the trust's name. And when you do this, then your home is not part of your estate because you don't own it and the trust owns it. And thereby, since it's not part of your estate, then everything held in trust avoids the probate process. Now, you would be the trustee of the trust while you're still alive, and what you do, you name a successor trustee when you die, and that successor trustee would be responsible for carrying out the wishes that you expressed in your trust document. It's much like the executor of your will. Now, these are just a few things to consider, and everyone's situation is different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to talk with your financial advisor and get in front of a qualified estate planning attorney to make sure your estate is structured properly according to your needs.